So it's just something that allows me to really just like think a little bit more about the impact that I have, and just kind of always wanting to create good work, and always wanting to have my work kind of speak for me. And I think that's something important when I think about like how other people view me and how other people view our work.
Mental Health Monday.
Mental Health Monday. A good amount of people that I can vouch for, that I've had those like 3, 4, 5 year relationships with now. That's like,
Yeah.
That's who I'm sticking with.
Also, keeping that circle tight isn't gatekeeping. And I think a lot of folks confuse folks like you who do photography and are in those circles of like the Broccoli Cities, the what's the name of the one that's down there in Miami?
Rolling Loud.
Yeah, Rolling Loud. The ones that you do in Philly and everything else. I think they conflate that. Also, something in the water. That's a little resume drop for everybody. I think they conflate you have that opportunities with, you will only share that with those people. But people don't keep in mind that if you get recommended for the job, there's a certain expectation these companies have of the people that they work with. And I can't afford to give you an opportunity if you already don't have the standards of being on top of yourself and delivering, and also creating less opportunities for anybody to question your work or your work ethic.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think also people might think that, might have the thought of, okay, well, if you keep it in the family or whatever, like how am I ever going to be able to get put on or something like that? And I think that's like something that I don't necessarily wrestle with, but I think it's a thought in the back of my mind that people might be like, how am I supposed to get put on then? If
That's not your responsibility.
Right.
And another reason I say that's not your responsibility, and I mean, this may sound mean, but like, you earned your right to be on those stages with everything you referenced in the last sit down we did over on If You Build It, when it came to like knowing J. Cole's words from top to bottom for any track, right? From Wale noticing your work because of how you've executed your work, the editing when it was presented, you saying yes to, hey, yeah, you can use that photo with no issue. That puts you in line. You weren't thinking about that. You were just like, nah, this is cool that these people appreciate my work. Use my work however you see fit. Mm-hmm. And then you consistently, I wouldn't even say going out of your way, creating opportunities for you to go to festivals in Philly, taking photos, and then coming back to like your friend's house or your family member's house to like get back on the computer to do work on the trip going back. The companies, they listen and they watch and they know who you folks are.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfortunate that a lot of people aren't willing to pay those prices here and there, and understand you're not here just because you've been here long. You're here because you do put the work first. And there's an actual balance to when you show up to do things, they know you just out of habits, you have to deliver. You don't have a choice anymore.
Yeah. Everything you said is 100%. And I think that's something that you said about it not being my responsibility is also something I might tackle with in my head. Like, you might feel like, oh, I want to be the big sis type thing, that give off that type of, I've been here for a while kind of mentorship. And I do provide that as I can, but you can only do but so much.
Mm-hmm. And then also being a mentor, if you're a mentor to everybody, that means that like not all the mentees are going to get the big opportunity.
Right.
So like, for example, for you being a mentor and for you wanting to be the big sis, I think there may be 3 questions you need to ask yourself going forward, if you don't mind me making these suggestions. The first one is, do I have time to really give these folks the quality advice that they need for their work and what would either take them to the next level? That's number 1. Number 2, are the people who want to be my mentors or who I want to help, are they open to the advice that I have? Because I'm not working with you just because you're talented. I'm working with you because you're talented, but you make yourself available to adjust
Right.
to whatever I have to say because I've been here and I know that's what they're going to be looking for. And then I think the third thing, which is most important, is are you going to be willing to pay the sacrifice of your time and your quality effort to these people? Because, like, no offense to everybody, not everyone's going to make it and not everybody's going to work out. And there's this misconception of now that I've worked these big events, I'm set for life. And it's like, no, actually, that's just a part of your journey as a photographer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And like,
I think those are all good things to consider.
yeah. And the only reason I am able to say this to you is because, like, with the work that I do, I've never, when it comes to Get Home Safe, I don't see this as a grand platform. And I had to speak on this last week at a speaking engagement that I did with my boy Britt because we're working on creating vulnerable spaces for men in the DMV that involve yoga and a mental health talk. And it's working out really well. But I told folks, everybody knows about the 220 folks we've gotten into like therapy with the work we've done from like 2019 to now. But to me, what's more important is the number that's not written down. That's the real impact. So the people that spin the block and reach out to me when they have an emergency, the people that come back and talk to me, they tell me, hey, from the work you've done, I went and got therapy. To me, that doesn't go directly to the 220.
Yeah.
To me, that is like people really making a decision for themselves, and we happen to give them the little oomph, and then they're able to come back and say, thank you.
Right.
And I have no idea about these folks,
Yeah.
right? And for you, I'm pretty sure there's moments like that too.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, there have definitely been times where people have just reached out to me and said, like, you're one of my favorite photographers, but like, I haven't had direct contact with them. And that still always kind of throws me for a loop just because I don't really I mean, I still feel like, 2016 China that just started taking pictures. Like, I don't feel like I'm a master of my craft. So whenever I hear people say that, it's just like, oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Like, I'm always learning. So I think I always feel like I'm not all the way there, but it's nice to know that there are people that are looking up to me as like, oh, I like what she does. So that's always cool.
My partner came across your work in my bedroom, and she was like, is that Chinese? I said, yeah. She said, I know her, I follow her. I was like, yeah, no, that's my homie. She's like, what? I said, yeah. So, like, we live together, right? And she was like, oh, what time she's coming through? I was like, oh, around this time. So, oh, man. I was like, yeah, you got to me. And she's like, yeah. And then she had to step out. So I was like, I was like, oh, by the time you come back, she might still be here. She's like, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And, like, I think about how do you handle, I don't think it's an expectation, but how do you handle the effect that you've had on people with your work? Like, privately, what's that like for you?
I don't know. I mean, I think I always appreciate it. It's just, I think it just helps me kind of keep going. I feel like I'm just, well, I think when I think about just like being able to create is just like a really special gift. And I think I think about that a little bit more as time goes on. Like, not everybody can do this. And sometimes I feel like people could do it, but then when I think about what I'm doing, I'm like, I don't think everybody could really do this. So it's just something that allows me to really just like think a little bit more about the impact that I have, and just kind of always wanting to create good work, and always wanting to have my work kind of speak for me. And I think that's something important when I think about like how other people view me and how other people view our work.
Would you say, does keeping track of the business ever get stressful for you? Because I imagine that like sometimes you'll